let's go ahead and we can get started. Okay, so I have this already kind of planned out. This is for an algebra unit, but it can easily be made to where it is for, for your classroom, for the kindergartners and first graders. If you see like on Monday, this is for 5 days. It really just depends on what, how in-depth the problem is. For your students, I would say 3 days, 3 to 4 days would be probably your max, because you're only going to hold your kids' attention for that long. And you're not going to be doing that problem the whole time. You'll be kind of switching back and forth between stations and balanced numeracy, just
with skills
blended learning
up for that PrBL, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you'll be. So let's look. On Monday, I've got, you launch this whatever problem that you have. And Jennifer and I have been working really good with Jenna with your PrBL that we did. I think it's a really great idea to incorporate a literacy piece to it and just bring in a book of some kind that just, you can either launch with that or you can use that along the way. So you've got your launch, what you're doing, your launch document of some kind that you want to give the kids. And then you have the students writing your knows and need to knows. This would be something that you would do, and you would facilitate that for them, especially for the first couple times. And this right now for K through 2, you're only expected to do 1 to 2 a semester. So you're just trying to implement this as best you can, and because we're learning from this process too. This is something that I've facilitated in grades 3 up. So this, whatever feedback that you have that does and doesn't work, please share that with me, and we can kind of fix this to fit y'all. So, because really I've done a lot of research on this. There's not a whole lot of PrBLs in this grade level, K through 1. There's only a couple of resources that have PrBLs written for math. So I've got someone dancing behind me or in front of me. But okay, so Monday, and you've got your knows and need to knows. And then, instead of a flip video, that would be something that you do in class. That's your time for blended learning, if that's what you're doing in your stations and your balanced numeracy. Or that could be something that you're doing your small group with, or you're, facilitating whatever your direct instruction looks like, that the time that you would deliver that material to the students.
Samantha, let me ask you this real quick.
Absolutely.
Okay, so on the launch, so let's think about Jenna's, her money one. So would she give them the problem document that basically has the problem written out? And then, would she give them that before she reads them the book, and read that and then lead into the book, or do the book first?
I would do, with that one in particular, I would do the book first.
Okay.
That way they have some background information. And really, I would give them those questions as needed. Kind of like I don't know if you've heard of Dan Meyer. I sent you that video a couple days ago. He does this thing called Act 3s, which is he gives the problem in stages, which would be a good idea in Jenna's situation with that book, to be able to give it, give the questions as the kids need it.
Yeah. So, okay. So she would read the book. They would have the problem sheet, write their no need to knows together, and then go into stations that may deal with money or whatever.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, I guess it'd be money, because that's going to be her focus.
Right. Okay. Exactly. Okay. And then on Tuesday, they would come in. They could spend their whole day in math just doing balanced numeracy. You can maybe revisit the problem a little bit. Maybe Jenna, you could solve one or two. You could facilitate maybe 1 or 2 of those problems that we have that's connected with the book, if you It really just depends on where your kids are at. If your students are ready to move on and they feel comfortable with that, then answer one or two of those facilitating questions through the book if you would like to do that with them.
Or she can just do other examples of modeling how to count money.
Exactly. So then you would do like a matching activity, and then lead into your I've got practice and review for quadratics. Well, you would do some kind of your stations again with that new material. And then another time for your flipped or blended and ready to go for Wednesday. On Wednesday, you would go into a brainstorming time, either together or in your small group. And then you would try to come up with strategies to help solve that problem. Okay. And then you would move on from there to maybe doing some more practice type things with money. Let's go back to Jenna's case of that problem. You could go ahead and maybe solve one of them there, or do some more of your balanced numeracy stations. And then, you're spending your time. You're basically doing exactly what you're doing right now, but with this umbrella of a problem. What you're doing at this level, it shouldn't hardly change at all. You just have this umbrella of, okay, we have to go back to our problem. Let's revisit this problem and see if we know enough now to solve a little bit more of it. Does that make more sense? Okay. Because what I've heard from Jennifer is y'all are doing an excellent job with balanced numeracy and all that great kindergarten and first grade stuff. Which is amazing to me. And then you've got, I would say 3 to 4 days for kindergarten, first grade would probably be a really good timeline for y'all, because you don't want them to forget what the problem is. Right. And you don't want them they'll probably be ready to move on to something else at that point. So on Thursday, you will really be, especially this first problem, you're probably going to be solving and working through it together, whether that be in small group or, at the end, come back together and do it as a whole group, making sure everyone's on the same page.
If you think about it too in stations, I know one of our second grade teachers, she does this, and she has, for example, she has a rotation during her math block where they're at like money stations doing things, and then when they come to her teacher table, they work on the PrBL with her right then, and they work through that process right there in front of her. So essentially she's working through those that PrBL 4 times, or how many of her groups that she has. And so that's another way that you can do it too, to really facilitate it small group and kind of see where the misconceptions and all that kind of stuff are with your kids.
Right.
So just another way to do it.
Right. And then, with it being self-contained, you really are able to manipulate, a little bit more of your time, and with your scope and sequences too. They align so well that you can almost write a PBL and then write a PrBL that is able to support that PBL, using the same concepts and the same overarching theme that you would like to do in your PBL can be the same ideas that you're doing with your PrBL.
Sure. Kind of like thinking through the lens of, and this is what I was doing whenever I was trying to help Jenna with this one, is there's a problem. So what's the problem? I mean, like when you read like a children's book, a lot of children's books, especially fictional ones, there's a problem that's trying to be solved throughout the book, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like taking that problem with some mathematical content. If there is the mathematical content in the book, there's lots of children's literature out there that deals with mathematical content, and then turning that into their problem. So they have something to tie it to, you know, since a lot of everything that y'all do already ties to children's literature.
Right. And today I was helping one of the teachers in Palestine, and we got out do you remember that the Go Math Literacy Kit? They have amazing books in there to help support those as well for math. So just kind of revisiting.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
So in a kindergarten, it's identifying coins. So there's a book called Benny's Pennies that sets it up, and basically the little boy has 5 pennies, and he goes and he buys gifts for his family.
Yeah.
Yes. So the problem could be, we could lead them to be, well, what other coins are there? Is that kind of what you're thinking? And then the problem would be exploring the other coins that there are. It could be something as simple as that.
Say that again, though. Like, okay, so he's identifying, it's his penny. So he finds something and he doesn't know what it is.
No, he has 5 pennies, and he goes and he buys, in the story he is buying, he's basically, it's a fictional story, and he's buying things with his 5 pennies, and he's spending a penny for each gift for his parents, for his family.
Right.
Leading them to what other coins are there. And you basically are setting up to, the problem would be leading them to, well, what other coins are there? We're going to identify other coins. I guess I'm trying to link the penny that they probably already know to their other coins that we need to identify.
No, I think that's perfect. In Jenna's case, the book that she's using kind of goes through a bunch of scenarios, which lends itself to breaking it into pieces in order to solve like little problems along the way. Whereas your book would be a great launch.
A launch for coins.
Exactly. So I think that would be a great idea. I'm going to share.
What is my book?
A penny pot or something.
Did you get the PrBL that Samantha sent you, Jenna?
My emails have been really acting up.
Okay.
And like even from the university, it wasn't showing up like for me to register for classes, the IT thing. And now it's work is not showing up either. So
okay. Yeah, I think she emailed you like an actual PrBL template already done, like already completely filled out with the facilitating questions and everything.
Is there any way that you can send that to me also, so I could just use it, kind of look at it? I know I would not use it, but just I can kind of use it as a guide.
I have the January math newsletter, and I have the meeting today.
That's so weird.
I know. I have no idea. Let me check on my computer because it may just be my phone.
Here, I'm forwarding it to you, Jenna, the one that I sent, and then I'm going to send it to Leanne as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Jenna, do you want her to send it to both your accounts just to be safe?
Yeah, that's fine. It like I said, it may be my phone. I need to use my computer like I'm supposed to be instead of my phone.
So basically, a PrBL is what problem is to be solved, and you work through the problem over a few days.
Exactly.
It's like a mini.
Got it.
It is. I'm going to also share with you, because the second grade teacher in Longview really likes using this to help her do PBL and PrBL. So she is able to see the standards right there together and see it cross-curricularly, if I can say that right. And then able to write the PrBL that supports that. So down here you've got in this case algebra 1, but you could change that to your money standards, what your enduring understanding of what that problem is going to look like, and then have your ELA standards as well.
That is if you were going to do it all together.
Yes, if you were going to be,
like if it's not tied into a PBL y'all are doing, then you could fill out the sheet that Jenna.
yes, if you, let's see, it is right here, this one.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Yeah, and this is really helpful when you're you're writing a PrBL. It helps me. I still do it because it really breaks it down so that you're able to see, okay, what are the deliverables? What do you want? What are the outcomes? How are you going to assess? You can go ahead and that's workshop and ideas. There's not a wrong thing to put in this because it's your document that it helps you to plan it. So you can tie in workshop ideas, what stations you want to do within that, what supporting activities that you want to do as a group. I mean, it's your document to do with what how you're going to do that PrBL. So they're trying to write a wrong way to do it, really.
Leanne, it could be something too, like after you read the book to them, that you just give each group of 3 to 4 kids or even 2 to 3 kids money, and like plastic money, and they are just sorting them and having conversations about them, and you're not even telling them what the money is, but they're just talking about it. And so like I may know that this is a dime and I know that it's 10 cents, but he doesn't know, so I'm sharing that information, and they're just having that conversation about it. Then there can be the extension of, well, what do you think you could buy if you had 5 nickels? Or what do you think you could buy if you had 5 dimes? Just that, taking it past there, and just the conversation part of it, and thinking critically through that process. That's where your kindergartners are going to really thrive in a PrBL. And it's going to be better than you just saying, well, this is a nickel and it's worth 5 cents. This is a dime. You know what I mean? So they're getting that first. They're getting that explore time first, and then they're coming back to you, and most of them probably already know what everything is because they've had those conversations within their groups. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yes.
So it's more at the K1 level, getting to have those critical conversations with their peers. I feel like, Samantha, I don't know if
I completely agree.
And problem solving through things and giving them some questions, Lan, like, okay, here's your question is to explore what's in front of you and what is it and how could you sort it? I mean, because there's different ways you could sort the money. You could sort it by the amount it is, the size of the coin, the color. There's so many different ways that they could sort it. So I would focus it around that.
That's great.
So
that's helpful.
Yeah,
for sure.
But anyways, that's it. Really, I think. Do y'all have any more questions?
Can you go back to that original calendar, the one with the colors? I just want to look at the Friday one. I didn't get Friday written down, and I just kind of want to look at how it applies to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull that PrBL up in case I have any questions.
Okay.
Okay. No, this has been very helpful.
Yeah, I got the first part of that email, but I didn't get the second one after I responded, like with the actual document in it. I have no idea.
Oh, that's weird.
Okay, let's see here.
And Jenna, you may not have a copy of that book, but it's on YouTube.
Yeah, I just pulled it up on my phone.
Okay.
No, this is really helpful.
Well, and I think too, one of the biggest parts of your Friday or your last day is having that quiet time for them to just think and be able to write. I know that you're building writers, so having that time to sit and think, or you facilitate their writing, giving them,
The assessment.
Yeah, I mean, giving them time to express themselves. So.
And if you come up with something on a template or whatever,
yeah,
and like we can give you feedback on it. You can look at the one that Jenna has in front of her.
And it came to me as well, right?
Huh?
Yes, it did.
Other than counting the actual value of the coins, we could start out the exact same way with just identifying coins.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I liked Jennifer's idea, too, of just giving the kids the coins, because y'all have money kits that were, I mean, they're great. You just give them to the kids and just say, what are the similarities? What are the differences? What do you think?
You could just
coins
start
represent. I
a
mean,
question of what ways can you sort these?
Yes.
Then they go.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's an overarching, and that's enough time for them to struggle a little bit and have that good conversation about the different ways, and then get into, well, can there be more than one way to sort these? You know, that would be your facilitating question if they get stuck and they're like, well, we've sorted them, we're done. Well, is there another way you can do it? You know?
Right.
But yeah, Jenna, that's right. And then you could do that at the very beginning and then go into the book, you know? So, I mean, right there, doing the explore, then doing the book, and the no need to knows. I mean, that's 2 days right there at least. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Because, I mean, I don't know, I could be wrong. I mean, do you feel like, Leanne, most of your kids know what coins are which or not?
Well, I would say that they do. Yeah, I would.
They would probably have trouble identifying what the value of them are. They probably know what it's called. I'm just thinking about my kindergartner. He knows what they are called, but I don't know if he realizes what the value of it is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That would be where we are. For most of them.
A lot of times there's that misconception that the dime is the smallest value-wise because it's the smallest coin. You know, that kind of stuff. So
yeah, and then you're going to have kids that probably at the very beginning will sort them from smallest to largest, and you can say, well, what do you think about after you talk about the value, you can have that challenging question of, well, are the values from least to greatest as well, or just having those types of conversations. So
I feel like really just in kinder and first grade, honestly, I kind of feel like you really just naturally do PRBLs and PBLs, and they just don't have some of the little components. Like Leanne, like you said with the weather unit, you're like, well, we're basically doing this already. I mean, you are. It's just you're missing the piece of the purpose of the umbrella of it. And that's it, really.
Yeah.
And giving them a purpose to, well, you asked for this and this is why we're doing it. But other than that, kinder and first grade is really the perfect place to do it because you're naturally already doing it with them anyways, because that's how kinder and first grade is, you know? So it really should be easier. In my
it just gives the kids a reason why they're doing it. And it gives them, it's kind of like the backbone of it. That is why you're doing it. And you can always go back to that.
Yeah.
It's not just we're not learning money just for the sake of learning money. We're learning money because we need to figure out when, I forget the name of it, when penny pot has enough pennies in the pot. I mean, it just makes sense for them to have some kind of reason why.
Well, and using the kids' literature gives the kinder and first grader something to tie it back to.
Yeah.
You know, that's their kind of authenticity to a degree.
Yep.
So.
This is helpful. Thank you. Yeah, this is great. Gives us a good outline.
Good.
Right. It's really just kind of putting a little bit more structure to the lesson plan with a launch and.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and like Samantha said, I mean, this structure and format is not something you have to do all the time, but it just lends itself, in my opinion, so naturally because you're already doing kids' literature anyways, you know?
Well, at this level too, you're wanting them to work through the problem-solving process, not necessarily, did I get the whole problem correct, but did I think about it correctly? Did I, and you're going to be facilitating this along the way too, of whether they're solving that problem correctly. So everyone hopefully ends up at the same solution or, at their solution that is correct. It doesn't have to be the same one, but they are working through that problem-solving process. So just working on the process of solving a math problem and those math process.
thank you. This is great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It definitely helps.
No, absolutely. Email anytime.
Thank you for your support and taking the time to do this with us.
Oh, thank you for wanting to. It's
Yes.
awesome.
Take an initiative.
That's right. Y'all are awesome.
Thanks for including me in this meeting.
Anytime.
Tremendously. I appreciate it.
Well, good. So, and please give any feedback that you have too about the PrBL process, and maybe we can, because it should look different for y'all. You know, so if you have
There's
some
not many
tweaks.
teachers doing this either.
No, there's not. So
I mean, really, there's not a lot of schools that do PBL at this level, and so that's another uniqueness about our school. You know,
They should write it and publish it on Teacher K Teacher.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll make some money.
Yeah.
That's right. Sounds great. We'll look forward to getting this written up, and we'll get your some feedback.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.